Anime will peak once again once this scene from Dandadan is actually animated. And if you're wondering why I'm even making a video like this, well, earlier today there was some information that came out from official sources of Dandadan having a very important announcement that is coming up in, very soon. And the thing is leading a lot of people to believe that this is going to be a anime announcement. Now, if you're kind of scratching your head and you're wondering, wait a minute, wasn't there like an anime already announced? Well, let me clarify. So basically, if you look it up and all that, if you type in, Dandadan anime on Google and you start searching, you'll see multiple articles from like June of this year to a lot earlier. Like if you go back to old Reddit posts, you'll even see people talking about it back in November 17th, 2022 of last year. I even made a video, I believe, late last year talking about it, that there was some leaks and rumors going around that Dandadan was getting an anime. And it was just up in the air. We didn't know if it was official or not, but it was a potential possibility because FYI, Dandadan has a lot of chapters. It has over 100 chapters, and it's a fairly popular manga. It is not something that is under the radar. It's not something that is necessarily small. Like, it doesn't have a small community. It legitimately is quite a popular manga. And so when you factor all of these things in, it's like, it seems now would be a really good time for an anime to be announced, especially since it has over 100 chapters already out to adapt. But let's get a little bit deeper, okay? So basically, with this announcement that kind of came out, the only thing that it really could pretty much announce is an anime. I am almost dead certain that this is going to be an official anime announcement because of just the sheer popularity of it. But let's talk about that possibility. So, there's been a lot of rumors for a while now that if Dandadan is getting an anime, who's necessarily going to be adapting it? And the first thing that people think of when they think of Dandadan's anime, like, when it's going to be actually getting one, is that it could be Studio Mappa. FYI, the studio that does Jujutsu Kaisen, Chainsaw Man, stuff like that, that studio. That's what people instantly assumed when Dandadan was already having leaks rumored about, that it was getting an anime. But personally, I don't think Studio Mappa would really suit the anime. I don't think it would actually suit Dandadan, and I think that there's a few other companies that come to mind that I think could do a very good job, and let's point those out. We gotta look at Mob Psycho Season 3, or just Mob Psycho in general. They were made by Studio Bones, and the team behind, Mob Psycho 100 at Studio Bones is absolutely incredible. Anyone that sat down and watched this last year when it came to a close, I think could agree that this was just outright a breathtaking conclusion to a beloved series, and Studio Bones really nailed it out the park. They did a really good job with it, and, it's very rare nowadays where you see, like, a show, or a manga, an anime, whatever, come to an end, and people are happy with it. Like, most of the time, when a series comes to an end, there's just outright, just an outburst of anger and disappointment. But Mob Psycho 100 was a rarity amongst the crowd. It did not really have anyone really upset with it. Now, to be fair, if you probably start to dive and dig, you will find a few that didn't like the ending. But overall, when it comes to the vast majority, people really enjoyed it, which, like I said, is rare. And the way it was delivered as well in the anime really elevated it to a whole new level. And Studio Bones, the team that worked on, like, the directors, etc., I would love to see the people that worked on the show make a Dandadan, like, anime. I would love that, because I feel like the very unique vibe and tone of Dandadan could be replicated from that staff, and just really given a whole new breath of fresh air that would really just honestly blow everybody away. I feel like because of how unique the art style of Dandadan can be as well, that, like I said, the staff at Studio Bones that worked on Mob Psycho would be probably one of my favorite picks for, the anime, if, it does get an official anime announcement. Now, there's a few others that come to mind as well. That's not just, let's say, Studio Bones. We also got Trigger. Trigger is, let's be honest, a very, very well-known studio. People love Studio Trigger. They legitimately make just some outrageously good shows. They have made some stuff that just has blown people away. Like, as of recent, Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk, I think everybody's heard about Cyberpunk Edge Runners, and it was beloved. It made a lot of waves in the anime community, and because of that, Studio Trigger is still making bangers to this very day. But they have made countless classics. They're not just a one-hit wonder. If we go down their catalog, they made, like, Kill la Kill. They have made stuff like Inferno Cop. If you haven't seen that, Inferno Cop is hilarious. They've done Gridman. Dandadan, Darling in the Friend. They have done a lot of good stuff, like Little Witch Academia. I think that, Studio Trigger, in terms of how they present things with their very unique style, they also would be a very good fit for Dandadan. Now, if it's not them, another studio that comes to mind is Shaft. Now, Shaft, I think, is one of the weakest picks out of the three that I've just mentioned, but I still think that Shaft has a lot to offer if they're to get a good team together to really adapt it, and let me explain. Shaft is definitely known for some very unique styles over the years. I mean, let's look at the Monogatari series. Now, to be fair, a lot of the staff in Studio Shaft has probably left since then. It's no longer the exact same company that it once was years ago, but I feel like just the very uniqueness of what Shaft offers with its shows, with its style, could definitely be unique for Dandadan as well. Like, if we have, like, the Shaft from the Monogatari, era, with that design, I really do think that, Dandadan would really benefit a lot from that. I really would love to see, like, the head tilts, etc. that Shaft was iconic for many, many years ago. I think that they would be a really good studio as well, once again, if it had a good team. Now, besides that, once again, let's go back to Mappa. A lot of people will mention Studio Mappa because, honestly, Studio Mappa is very popular. They made a lot of fantastic shows over the years, and regardless if you love or hate them or whatever, they have had a lot of success. That's the truth of the matter. And I do think that, Dandadan would probably do well if it did have Mappa on its side, but I feel like, it wouldn't be as passion. There wouldn't be as much passion in the project if Mappa got it. And I feel like Dandadan as a series, it needs a group that is going to animate it that pours in passion. It really needs a passionate staff, not a staff that is overworked or, just wanting to pump this out because they need to fill a quota for that year for anime that needs to be released. I feel like that, Dandadan is a series that will break if it doesn't have a core team that loves the series and wants to make it. If it's a team that's just being forced to do it, it's not going to be a good product. I think it would really suffer, especially with just the context of what is actually within the story. But besides all of that, though, I want to talk about this because Dandadan is a series I've been reading for a while now. I remember doing a live stream of it like a year and a half ago, and a lot of people loved it. And if you've actually never seen Dandadan, you never actually read this series, I really cannot recommend it enough. It is a legitimately good story. It's like Chainsaw Man Chaos, but even crazier. That's literally the way I would describe it. It's so good, though. But, I'll leave it at that. I wanted to make a video talking about this because there's anime news potentially on the horizon. I will keep you guys up to date when it officially comes out. But for now, I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching. May all of you have a fantastic day or night wherever you live. Be safe, stay healthy. Chibi out.